Okay, guys, I have to do this. I have to do it incognito. You know who it is, but don't tell anybody. I gotta do it like this. So, anyways, I'm talking to this girl who did this video about bullying. You know, she held up a sign. It was like, I've been bullied. I'm considering cutting myself. I want to, and everything she had to say, she held up a sign, and it said whatever, she's considering hurting herself, and nobody likes her, and all they do is bully her, and they call her a bunch of, what do you call that, superlatives that untoward superlatives. Anyways, so I get into one of them tough love type deals with her, and she freaks on me. Okay, she freaks out, and but here's the thing. Now, after she freaks out, I try to explain myself to her, and then so she gets back to me and she explains her side. And then I explain my side, and then she explains her side, and we go back. It's a funny thing because I have a way of right off the bat ticking people off, and if I don't, sometimes if you don't do that, you never get to the heart of the conversation. You never get to. It's like these glasses. These really tick people off. People hate these glasses. I look like a giant horsefly. Anyways, so, I told her, I said, hey, listen, not everybody is, Britney Spears. Not everybody's going to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Not everybody's life is like a TV show. And, a lot of people, rejected by their peers. And whatever your perception is of how people should treat you, you've got to remember, that's your perception, not theirs. So you've got to learn to live with yourself first before you can live with others. And one of the greatest resources for that, I think, would be Dale Carnegie's How to Influence and Win People Over. Remember that title. Now, the title it betrays the content of the book. The content is much more different. The content will be so helpful, especially for kids who are who are bullied. But geez, it's tough for parents to get kids to read. But that book, Dale Carnegie's How to Win People Over and Influence Them, how to influence them, you'll get it. You'll look it up on the internet. I'm sure Amazon's got them used fairly cheap. You can get that, and it is a very, very well-structured guide to actually getting along in life. So I get into this interlocution with her, and we're going back and forth, but you don't know what it's like, and I'm like, well, and anyways, she's talking about cutting and stuff. I said, who's gonna benefit from this? If you cut yourself, nobody benefits. Nobody. And you've just done some harm to yourself, which is going to follow you the rest of your life. You're going to be considered an unstable person, and you don't want that. So even holding up those signs and doing videos about I might cut myself and I hate myself and they're picking on me and I might kill myself and this and that. Listen, you have already designated yourself as mentally unstable, and you shouldn't have done that. In itself, you should have been looking for another outlet. Now you got your 10 minutes of fame, fine. That's all fine and well. But listen, life isn't like that. Let me tell you a story of a doctor I know, very rich doctor, built his own house in Pembleton, Oregon. I'll tell you about it another time. But anyway, he's a plastic surgeon, and he's one of the Doctors Without Borders. And he goes over into countries that don't allow doctors, and he fixes cleft palates on children. Doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, doesn't matter where they are. He uses his own money, his own resources. Him and his wife go over and they fix cleft palates. That's what he does. He does it very well. He's very good at what he does. And these kids here who have these cleft palates don't even go to school. They don't even go out of the house. Their peers, I guess, paradoxically, bully these kids into not wanting to go anywhere. These kids don't want to be seen anywhere. They don't want to be made fun of anywhere because that's the way it is. And so they're hermits. They have to stay indoors and deal with their sad mothers and fathers who feel so bad for their own children. And I'm telling them, saying, you know something, you're very, very lucky to have an internet and hold it up and show all your pain on the internet and everything, when there's children out there who can't even leave their home. They can't even leave their home because they're so disfigured. They're considered freaks, misfits among society, and they're good kids. Okay, well, that's for Trish. All the best to you, kid. I hope that explains a little bit more about how I felt about that, because I think it's just a fad kids are going through right now. You know, there was the hanging thing at one time, and there was the flashing of the lights another time, and you know, I mean, they go through all kinds of fads. In California prisons, they would have cutting parties because they weren't getting enough eggs for breakfast. They would cut themselves up. Hundreds of them would cut themselves up. These people are mentally unstable, and so that has to be taken into consideration too. All right. I bid you adieu.